Welcome everybody to another Fish Talk video. And Jamie, we've been asked by a lot of people some of the things we do to catch trout when we're trolling in Alpine lakes. So we thought we'd just put together a little bit of a video here. Yep. We've got about 12 tips for you folks, and none of them are any more important than any of the others. So we haven't numbered them 1 to 12, and we'll see if we can put you onto a fish or two that way. Now remember, this is trolling. Trolling up at mainly at Dartmouth, but it'll also work at Yukonbean and Jindabyne as well. Yeah, Telbingo would be another one that it would work at.
Those other alpine lakes that allow you to have a fair degree of depth in the water column.
Yeah. So you've got to remember you're trolling over areas that can be up to 400 or 500 feet deep in Dartmouth.
So, and maybe Telbingo would be the other one that might have depths of that. That magnitude, but most of the others are a little bit more shallow.
So folks, excuse us if we refer to our notes every now and then, but we're not that smart to keep it all in our head.
Can't remember everything, can we, Roscoe?
That's right. Okay, first one, Jamie, we've got here is fish deep even in winter.
Yeah, even like in a grey old miserable day like this.
Which it is.
Which it is a grey old miserable day. The fish at Dartmouth in particular will sit well below the surface, and you think at this time of the year we need to be fishing on the surface primarily, and there's nothing wrong with running some lures on the surface at some stage during the day, but don't be afraid to fish deep, even 40, 50, 60 feet deep. If that's where your sound is showing your fish, then get your downrigger in, especially down to that sort of a level. Don't be afraid to go down to that.
Because these lakes stratify out, and their comfort level can sometimes be a lot deeper than you think, even in the middle of winter.
And even in Yukonbean and Jindabyne, those ones where it gets really cold on the surface, the warmer water is actually just below. So you don't have to go deep, but you might need to go 6, 8, 10 feet down to get into that warmer water, which is more comfortable for the fish. Right.
Now the next one, if you're fishing with fenders and lures, or fenders and worms, keep a reasonably short leader. We sometimes see people trying to fish with 3, 4 and 5 foot leaders, thinking that the fender's going to put the fish off. If the fender puts fish off, don't use it.
Don't use it at all.
It's there to actually attract the fish.
That's right.
So we use a leader of around about 18 inches.
To 2 feet.
24 inches if, at a stretch.
Yeah. And you can go down as short as a foot.
Oh yeah.
And there's plenty of blokes up there that do fish as short as a foot. We're going to get drift on occasionally, Roscoe, but that's what happens in winter in this area.
We'll probably apologise in advance if the sound's not good, but what you're hearing in the background is beautiful, wonderful rain.
Which is hopefully filling the lakes.
Yes, in Falangata town here, this is exactly what we want. Number 3, if you're trolling with bait like worms or mud-eyes, use an attractant of some sort.
Yeah, often helps. We've got no scientific proof that we catch more fish with it, with the attractant or anything like that, mainly because neither of us are game enough not to use it.
Oh, that's right.
To be the test case.
Yeah, and look, there's no particular one that I think is any better than any other. We use one...
Ultrabite.
Ultrabite. Unfortunately, folks, very hard to get these days. But it is a liquid. I think it does come in a spray as well.
Yeah, it does.
Because our mate Gads has got some spray cans.
It used to come in a spray. I don't think they build it any longer, which is...
So we usually just dip our baits in that for a few seconds and then let them out.
And in worst case scenario, it masks the human scent.
That's what we think, yeah. Short drop back on your downrigger, not all the time, but sometimes is all you need.
I reckon if you're more than about 30 feet down, or even 25 feet down, 25 to 30 feet down, you don't need to send your downrigger way back 50, 60, 70 metres, which you might do on the surface.
You would, yeah.
Get it way back. But off the downrigger, as little as 8 to 10 feet can be enough.
Oh, it can, yeah. And the first time I tried that was at Lake Telbingo, and I had a feisty rainbow take it and come straight to the top and almost leapt into the boat.
Yeah, so it's just happened just about 10 feet behind if we're in the boat.
So these are things that we've sort of worked out over time, folks.
So the downrigger bomb actually acts as an attractant to the fish.
It does.
You'll often see an arch coming up to the downrigger bomb, especially with active fish in a lake. So you'll see that arch come up. if your lure or whatever it is 30, 40 metres behind, that arch can come up, think, what the heck was that, and then go back down.
Yeah,
Whereas if a lure comes back very, very quickly, shortly thereafter, there's every chance that it might grab it.
And that's why a lot of people use downrigger bombs that are shaped like fish and even painted up like fish.
Yeah, or they've got little reflecting tape and things like that on them as well.
All that sort of stuff, yeah.
Have that as an attractant.
Vary your depth, James.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
You need to go up and down. If you're using lead lines, you might start on 2.5 colours and then go to 3, 3.5, 4 until you start to find the fish.
And the beauty about lead line is too, that it'll have a natural variation just because of the speeds that you're going. And if you sped up a little bit, it'll rise up through the water column, and as you slow down, it'll drop back down a little bit.
Yep.
So, you know, by varying your depth, you just give yourself that opportunity of finding where the fish are at. And then, but then concentrate at that level. There's no point, say, if you're catching consistent fish at 32 feet off your downrigger, oh, I think I'll try 21. Or I think I'll try 42.
Okay, still on the fenders thing, because we use fenders quite a lot up there. We don't like to.
It's not our primary purpose.
But they do help you catch fish.
And they also help you catch fish in Yukonbean and Jindabyne and Talbingo. Those lakes that are huge bodies of water, basically. Yeah. It brings the fish see something and it comes towards you. And
and this is the thing with trolling in these alpine lakes. It's sometimes a combination of things that get you onto the fish. Now, it might be that you're at the wrong depth if you're not getting them. But it also might be that you're using the wrong fender colour.
Well, that's exactly right. We've had times up there where if you weren't using silver, you would not catch a fish.
That's exactly right. And that goes for lures sometimes too. If you don't have pink in your arsenal, some days you might as well not be there.
That's correct. You know. So in those terms, have a multitude of fender colours.
Have a lot of them there ready to go. And your basic ones are silver, copper, gold, bronze, that sort of stuff. Yep. And then there's some combinations that have rainbow trout colours on them and stuff like that.
There's a green and yellow one that worked very effectively for you once.
Yes.
There's chartreuse, which is a nice dark, it goes a very dark colour under the water, and we often use that at low light levels. And so, but that allows you just to switch, change, have half a dozen different colours. I mean, we've got probably 50 or 60 between us, which we take every one of them.
Oh, we do.
And sometimes we don't tend to go to those funny colours until everything else is not working. But but certainly take 3 or 4 silver, gold, bronze. Yeah. And if gold is working, then use gold on 3 of your 4
Jamie,
lines.
you've had a lot of success lately on a combination of silver and gold.
Yes.
So so they're out there. Just get your local tackle shop, one of your better tackle shops around wherever you happen to live, and check out the range and get yourself a few of each.
10, 15 bucks or 10 to 12 bucks I think they are to buy. And if it means that you get 2 or 3 fish in a trip,
well, there's a fair bit in them when you think about it. I don't think they're that expensive.
No, they're not.
They take a bit of making, so there you go.
They are expensive if you don't clip them on when you just drop them over though, Ross.
Well, that's another story. Okay, this is probably one of our most important tips, I think, Jaden. When you catch a fish, make at least one more run over that area. At least one more run.
Especially if, and we open up our fish as we catch them. So we will, first thing we'll do, dong them on the head, cut their throat, put them in a bucket of water to bleed them out, and then we'll open them up once we're reset, we'll open them up. If it's got Daphnia or small gudgeon in particular in its guts, that's because that source of food is there.
That's right.
Stay in that area for at least another, you say 1 pass, I reckon you want a couple of passes.
Oh, well, like I say, at least one. You're just not doing yourself a favour if you just troll on.
No, you want to go back in the same direction too at some stage that you've been, because for whatever reason...
That can make a difference.
It can. If you catch fish going up an arm, when you turn around and you don't catch anything going back, just don't be afraid to go back up that arm again, because sometimes they, for whatever reason, they'll take the bait on one direction,
Yep.
and they won't on another.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
So that's the end of part 1, folks.
Yep.
If you like what you've heard so far, then make sure you need to subscribe, Ross.
Yep. Yeah, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because we've gone through about half of our tips now, and the other half will be coming up on YouTube sometime in the near future. So thanks, folks. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in part 2.